Aren't they supposed to regulate our food? Aren't they supposed to regulate what they can put in food? They don't diet and exercise. I also take care of obese newborns. Yes, newborns. Do you want to blame them for their obesity at age 6 months?
Overweight or obese.
Eating habits, half of all Australian children will be obese.
We're often blamed for eating too much and not exercising enough. But some of the world's top experts refute this stereotype.
Did all of a sudden the entire world just become a bunch of gluttons and sloths, all at the same time?
Obesity rates for adults actually rose in 28 states this year. So why is it that Americans keep getting fatter in spite of government efforts ranging from calorie posting to new school lunch programs?
My day one rule is keeping my cool, even if I'm broken. If you blow my high, you won't see me cry. Gotta whistle while you work it. That's why you gotta never let them see you down, see you down. Oh, oh, yeah. Gotta smile while you're hurting, and whistle while you work it.
By the mid-90s, the demonisation of fats meant that sugar was actually considered a healthy alternative. Ads like this promoted sugary drinks as part of a healthy lifestyle. Adding sugar is how the food industry engineers temptation.
Now the food tastes great. In fact, it tastes so great we can't put it down. This is a win-win for the food industry. They complied with the arguments of the 1980s. They've gotten us to eat more, and they are making money hand over fist. The problem is, they're doing it at our expense, and we're losing our health.
A vast range of low-fat products began to dominate supermarket shelves. The only problem was when you took the fat out of food, it tasted like cardboard, so they had to replace it with something, and that was sugar. It gradually became the essential additive.
If you had a glass of fruit juice this morning, you're aging 7 times quicker.
Fructose is mainly found in fruit. That's why they call it fruit sugar. Now, you might be thinking, how can it be bad for me if it's found in a health food? Well, let me explain. You could easily drink a glass of apple juice before dinner, but if you had to have the equivalent in whole fruit, you probably wouldn't finish your meal. You see, juicing fruit removes all the fibrous pulp, so you can take in a whole lot more calories without feeling as full. So if you're going to eat fruit, stick to whole fruit, because it has a lot more fibre, and it's the fibre that tames your insulin response to sugar.
In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun, and snap! The job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. A robin feathering his nest has very little time to rest while gathering his bits of twine and twig. Though quite intent in his pursuit, he has a merry tune to toot. He knows a song will move the job along. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
about that much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's do 2.
That's too much.
It's pretty close.
I would expect more.
Is this more?
I'm so shocked.
Yeah, that's the recommended value?
For what? For diabetics?
No, for general population. I think it should be less, but... Right, it's working.
I would say... That's it.
No.
More than this?
That's what you think is actually consumed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess like probably like a lot.
Wait, that's actually so much. Wow. Really? Holy.
You should bleep that out.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Seriously?
That's pretty close.
That's sad. That's just pretty sad.
Ah, good.
Pretty good. Look at that.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty big difference, you know?
Hey! Pretty close. Am I right?
Oh god. I didn't know one actual can actually consisted of this much. I would expect at least, maybe even less than this.
Good. Pretty good.
Okay. So more in one can, right?
No. In 1 serving, so half a cup.
That's a lot for just half a cup.
Hey, once again. It's a lot. It's pasta sauce.
I think that I eat pretty healthy, but I'd say I'm in the top 10%.
I don't think about the nutritional value of the food that I eat, no.
In general, I don't think I eat healthy at all.
So for a week, I wrote down every single thing that I ate and drank.
No matter how small it was, like a small piece of chocolate to meals.
I think they're going to be really surprised. I think a lot of people think that they eat healthier than they do, and when they see it out on the table, they're really shocked.
I don't feel like I'm going to be overly shocked.
Hi,
hey.
Kate. Hi. I'm
How's
Christy.
this? I'm Keith.
This is what you ate.
A lot of coffee. Mostly seems coffee.
That was my biggest thing when I was looking at it. Was like, wow, it's it's a lot of liquid, but it's not a lot
I'm
of
drinking
food.
all the liquids.
It really surprises me and also makes me say, wow, like you should be more hungry than you are.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess so.
This is what you ate over the course of the week.
This looks about right. There's a lot of chicken, and that's right.
So this is a representation of what you ate last week.
Oh.
What do you think?
I mean, seems about right.
So the other thing that I think we should mention here is that you had the highest calories of everyone. And you were actually about over 5,000 calories more than you should have had for the week. Okay, so with this amount of food, why is it that, for instance, your sugar's so high? Oh. So this is the amount of sugar you ate this week, and this is the amount that you should have.
Wow. Oh my God.
This is how much you ate.
Well, not all at once.
So the extra sugar is coming from your alcohol.
Is there sugar in the beer, too?
Yes.
I just would like to say for everyone, I had 3 birthday parties.
Oh,
and
no.
This is something else.
Oh, no.
Now I was really impressed with the amount of fat that you had over the week.
This is only double of that, though.
Only?
Yeah.
And then this is the amount that you had. Switch some of the stuff out, and suddenly you've got less calories of fat and a better quality fat.
What year of my life do I need to start eating better?
About 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Here is the amount of green leafy vegetables that you had in the week. I want you to have that bag in like a day. Well,
no, not a day.
Having that a day.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. That's easy.
One of these a day?
All of this.
Right up
All of that.
So this is...
And maybe like some more like this.
I should have this many
That
a week?
many a week. What do you think?
It's not going to taste very good.
On a scale of 1 to healthy, what is my scale?
Based on this week?
Yeah, 2?
Yeah, I go 2.
Oh my God!
I feel like I should be doing better with my life right now. Like, I talked a big game going in here.
She didn't make any direct comments on my beer intake, though. She just sort of sighed, and I'll take that as a passive-aggressive, you're going to do what you're going to do.
Okay, so with this amount of food, why is it that, for instance, your sugar's so high?
Sugar is driving all of the chronic metabolic diseases that we know about today.
This is the bitter truth behind our sweet obsession with sugar.
In the 70s, when obesity and heart disease were on the rise, we were told dietary fat was the villain. Ads like this one used persuasive imagery to convince us that low-fat bars would make us skinny.
Kellogg's new low-fat granola bars, loaded with taste, but only half the fat.
There was a hypothesis going around at the time that if a food didn't have fat in it, it couldn't make you fat.
This sparked the low-fat revolution. Whole-fat mayo, for example, has just over 2% sugar. The low-fat version has 6 times more. The American Heart Association recommended that fatty snacks be replaced with high-sugar products like juice, hard candy, and spreads like syrup and honey. But now that 60% of the population is overweight or obese, and diabetes rates have tripled, is it possible that we've been given the wrong advice?
It's a bit surprising that cereals like Honey Cheerios or the Milo cereal contains an endorsement from groups that are supposed to be looking after our metabolic health.
So the Heart Foundation has got it wrong on this occasion?
I don't understand how they've said that's a healthy food.
America has seen a significant increase in obesity the last 7 decades. Chances are you are eating more refined sugar and starch than you realize. It's not just in the obvious things like soft drinks and candy.
1/2 of the sugar that we are consuming today is in items that we didn't even know had sugar. Tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, hamburger buns, hamburger meat, all sorts of processed foods. If you look at virtually every item in the store that has a food label, it has some form of sugar.
The diet Americans have now is vastly different from the one our ancestors ate.
Human evolution until about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago had a very different diet to what's happened since the agricultural revolution, where there's been a much greater input of grains and so increase in carbohydrate consumption.
Burning calories through vigorous exercise triggers hunger signals in your brain so that you eat to replace those calories. Your body knows it is losing vital energy storage, so it reacts by slowing down your metabolism to conserve that energy. This is thought to have helped humans evolve as a species and to survive in times of famine.
If you constantly provide carbohydrates to the body, you'll have constantly high insulin levels, and that will lead to increased fat deposition in tissues.
The higher your insulin, the more likely you are to store fat, because insulin is the main hormone that puts the fat in fat cells.
Now, if it's subcutaneous fat, the type that collects under the skin, then that's not so bad for your health. But if it's visceral fat, the type that collects around your belly and your organs, well, that's when problems arise.
What is it about visceral fat that causes health issues?
Visceral fat releases a different set of hormones, and in particular it releases what we call pro-inflammatory hormones that cause inflammation elsewhere in the body.
Right.
And that's why visceral fat is dangerous.
So it's possible to be lean but still have a lot of visceral fat around your organs?
That's correct, and it's possible to be lean and metabolically unhealthy.
So being slim doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. Up to 40% of normal weight people show signs of metabolic disease. And 20% of obese people are actually metabolically healthy.
Sugar is a simple carbohydrate made of 2 molecules, glucose and fructose. This bond is broken in the gut before it's absorbed. It has been shown that glucose mainly drives fat cells under the skin, and fructose deposits fat cells around organs like the liver.
When you make extra liver fat, that liver fat ends up mucking up the workings of the liver, and you end up with a phenomenon called insulin resistance. The liver doesn't work right, so the pancreas has to make extra insulin. And it also causes hypertension, changes in the brain that might result in altered cognitive function and possibly even dementia. It can increase cell proliferation, which can cause cancer. It can cause vascular smooth muscle proliferation, which can cause heart disease.
Sugar accelerates aging.
When you paint your barbecued meat with barbecue sauce, it browns faster. Well, that's happening inside your body. It's known as the browning or the Maillard reaction. And it is the thing that causes cellular aging. And the reason you do it with fructose is because it browns better. This is the reason that fructose has been added to bread. It browns virtually all foods better. Well, it browns your insides better too. And as that happens, you are aging faster. There is a hormone in your stomach called ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. When your stomach is empty, ghrelin goes up, tells your brain, hey, time to eat. Then you eat, ghrelin goes down, and so hunger goes away. But when you consume sugar, fructose does not get registered by the brain as you having eaten. Ghrelin doesn't change. You stay hungry. So you go to a doctor, you go to a nutritionist, you say, "Doc, I don't get it. Every time I stand on the scale, I weigh more and I don't feel so good. What's going on with me? Why am I fat?" And the doctor looks at your behaviors and says, "Well, I know why you're fat. You're a glutton and a sloth. You eat too much, you exercise too little."
Obesity is often seen as a character flaw, that person's inability to exercise and eat in moderation.
I also take care of obese 6-month-olds. They don't diet and exercise. I also take care of obese newborns. Yes, newborns. Do you want to blame them for their obesity at age 6 months?
Now, of course, overeating and being sedentary can make you gain weight. But Professor Lustig says this can't fully explain the sudden escalation in obesity across the globe. It has to be something within our environment, and it's likely to be the change in the composition of our diet.
Our fat consumption has stayed exactly the same over the last 30 years. And look at the disaster that has befallen us. And that is because our consumption of dietary carbohydrate has gone through the roof. Anything that drives insulin up will drive weight gain. I don't believe in blame. I believe that they are victims, not perpetrators.
Most dietitians will tell you to watch your calories because it's all about energy balance. Calories in versus calories out. But it's not actually that simple. We're biological systems, so we metabolize different calories in different ways.
Calories in, calories out is how we got into this mess. It depends on where those calories come from. It depends on what those calories are. It depends on how those calories are metabolized as to whether or not they will cause weight gain. When you burn protein for energy, it takes twice as much energy to metabolize that protein into energy as for carbohydrate. It's known as the thermic effect of food. Those calories are not recoupable. So you actually burn more energy metabolizing protein than you do carbohydrate.
So the net effect of eating a calorie from carbs versus a calorie from protein is actually quite different. That's why our experts say not all calories are equal.
MRI scans show that sugar triggers the same reward centers in the brain as nicotine, alcohol, and cocaine.
By increasing reward, you downregulate the receptors in that area, making it necessary to consume even more the next time to get the same level of reward. This is a phenomenon called tolerance. And tolerance is the first step on the way to addiction. And so we have shown, and others have shown, that sugar has potential for abuse.
Dr. Lustig says sugar should be regulated like tobacco and alcohol.
Both of those are toxic and addictive. And we regulate them and we keep them out of the hands of children. Well, sugar meets the same criteria of ubiquity, toxicity, abuse, and negative impact on society that tobacco and alcohol also achieve. It can increase cell proliferation, which can cause cancer. It can cause vascular smooth muscle proliferation, which can cause heart disease. I believe that they are victims, not perpetrators. They're doing it at our expense, and we're losing our health.